And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Go ahead and say it, Ed. Go Tigers!
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
You like that? You like that?
F it. Jamar's down there somewhere.
The New Orleans Saints select Marcus Davenport.
No!
Splash Brothers? Yeah.
It's playoff. Keep going, Brace.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
What is up, guys? Dirty Boot Sports, and we are back with another episode. This is episode 224. Shout out to Kobe Bryant and Gianna. That was the whole number situation that went around after Kobe's death. So 224. 24, one of my favorite numbers. Manny Ramirez. Can't think of anybody else. It doesn't matter. Manny's a GOAT. Put him in the Hall of Fame. I am back. It's been 2-week hiatus, I believe. But life, as always, life has gotten in the way. But I'm back. It's just me tonight. Peyton and Chance were going to be here, but yet again, life. Life happens. It sucks, but you know, some things are bigger than this gigantic podcast that we have. You know, pardon my take. They take breaks all the time. They take breaks all the time to their audience that is very comparable to ours. But no, all jokes aside, prayers up to Peyton's family and all the stuff that's going on there. And then Chance, just prayers up to him for having two twins. So, and then, you know, the rest of the guys, it's just life. Everybody's old and having kids and all that crap. And I'm just here talking about sports. I'm part of the blame for last week. Life got in the way with me. I was getting ready for my trip up north to Minnesota. And then the week before, I don't even know what happened. I can't think. I don't know. Stuff happens, man. Stuff happens. But nevertheless, we are back. And, you know, we're never going to fully go away, but we might just have these breaks here and there. But that's okay. But I'm back on the mic. I'm going to talk some football. I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible. Long day at work. I don't want to be here all night talking to myself. But let's just go ahead and get right into this. I'm going to start things on the college football side like always. And Friday night, we got some big games. We are into October where you get all the weird Conference USA games and stuff like that. I think last night we had Liberty and New Mexico State, and then my Arkansas State Red Wolves played a game. It was a bunch of games that I do not care about and that aren't relevant. And then apparently right now UTEP and Sam Houston are playing because, sure, 1-5 UTEP and 0-6 Sam Houston. Tune in right now. Stop what you're doing. Leave church. Leave whatever job you're at and tune in to UTEP Sam Houston. If it's late, you know, go back and watch the highlights. I'm sure they're absolutely incredible. But going at Friday, we've got Louisville and Miami. Miami, since this podcast last was filmed or recorded, they played Florida State, who has lost to Virginia, which doesn't make sense. Why is Virginia good at football? And now Miami is just incredible, but they're mostly led by their defense and not their offense. You know, last year everybody was talking the whole Miami story and Cam Ward this, Cam Ward that. No defense. Now it's all the defense. And Carson Beck, who is playing well, yes, but Carson Beck is not playing what Cam Ward was playing last year. And that offense is not doing the things that it was. They're winning by defense, which is, God, the first time since what? The Ed Reed teams or whatever, like early 2000s, late 90s. Like, it's a wild thing going on down there in Miami, but the boys are playing some good football, and I think it's about as good of a guarantee as it can be that they're going to make the playoffs. But they do have a decent test on Friday night against Louisville with Miller Moss and Isaac Brown. I mean, that's two really, really good college football players. I guess I might have used Miller Moss's name with really a little bit too much times, but hey, LSU fans remember the USC game a couple years ago to open the season? Yeah. That's all you got to say. Or crap, that was last year, wasn't it? Yeah, it was last year. and now the dude's at Louisville balling out. So Miami 13.5 point favorite. Probably Miami's going to cover that. But hey, if there's a sneaky trap game, which I don't know if you can be trapped at home, but maybe a trap game in terms of it being a Friday night in Miami, I doubt there's going to be a soul in that crowd, even if it's a good football team. But who cares? This could be a game where Miami could slip up. Who knows? But I don't really see it happening. Speaking of Minnesota, the row the boats, the fighting. What's the dude's name? Oh my God, I can't think of the coach's name. Peyton would be pissed at me right now. What is the dude's name? It's not Matt Campbell. It's the other idiot. PJ Fleck. Yeah, PJ Fleck, the Fighting Flecks. Rowing that boat. Playing the Cornhuskers, who snuck into the top 25 because they've beat nobody. Nebraska just wins games against, which the Cincinnati game, which is very interesting looking back on opening week. Everybody thought that was, Cincinnati's terrible. Now Cincinnati's kind of good, and Nebraska beat them. They lost to Michigan, though, at the Cornhusker house. And Michigan's not good. So is Nebraska good, or are they just beating Michigan State and Maryland? No one knows. I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs, but I saw Josh Pate put them in the playoffs. They play Minnesota, they play Northwestern, USC, UCLA, Penn State, Iowa. They could win all those but one or something. I don't know, but I'm not buying the Nebraska hype until I actually see it happen, because they're never going to be as good as they were. And it's just, we've been living this dream for years and years now. Like, my entire life, I've not seen a awesome Nebraska team. Yes, there was the Indomitian Sioux teams and all that, but even then, they weren't the whole 90s and 80s stuff that people talk about. And every year we're going to buy into the hype of, oh, this is the year. Probably not. Your coach is probably leaving you. He's probably going to Penn State. Probably taking the quarterback with him. Your program's going to be dead and looking for another rebuild after another failure this year. So suck that, Nebraska. Let's go to Saturday. Talk about the big one. LSU, Vanderbilt. LSU's a 2.5 point dog going to Vanderbilt, to Nashville at 11 a.m. That's the part that worries me, is 11 a.m. on a Saturday. It could be a trap game. Yes, I don't think anyone's being trapped by Vanderbilt, who's number 17 in the country and has a quarterback that gives you more motivation than anybody in the freaking world with the stuff that he says. But still, this just feels like a game where we could sleepwalk early, go into Nashville. Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully everybody stays in the hotel the night before. Don't hit Broadway Street up. There could be distractions. I don't know, man. I'm worried. But there are some positives coming out of this South Carolina game last week. Nuss looked possibly the best that he's looked all year. I mean, I would say week one he looked pretty dang good. But he definitely had a little bit of juice to him that he hadn't been having. And, we've been looking forward to this bye week. Oh, he's going to come back ready. He's going to come back healthy, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's actually happening. Maybe it's actually true. I don't know why we played such this weird game of, is he hurt? Is he not hurt? Why are we not talking about that he's hurt? All that BS after the Ole Miss game. The dude was probably hurt, almost certainly, because of the deep balls that he was throwing. He should have been throwing a lot further. We know that the dude has a cannon. Think back to the Georgia SEC championship game when JD5 got hurt. Nuss went out there and just slung that mug 50, 60 yards in the air. Now he can't throw a 40-yard deep ball to the back corner of the end zone. There's obviously an issue there for Nuss. But it did look a little bit better, and we started to see a little bit of the mobility last week against South Carolina. I wasn't 100% locked in on the game. I was at meeting some grandparents. Shout out to Molly's people. But yeah, yet again, this game, it's going to be one that it tests not only our defense, but our offense. Vanderbilt's defense is not very good. They're not bad, but they're not very good. We can definitely put up points on them. And then our defense, I think we feel pretty confident in them versus everybody in the world. Yes, they went to Oxford and allowed 480 yards to a Division II quarterback that no one had never heard of. But at the end of the day, it's at Oxford, and that was your first real sign of, maybe this defense isn't. I mean, not that. Maybe they're human, I guess you could say. I mean, the defense is still elite, but maybe there wasn't. Maybe we were overhyping the defense, I guess is what you could say. And then they bounced back in a pretty serious way against a mobile quarterback in Lenore Sellers, who people were, before the season, hyping up number 1 overall pick. And he's still in that upper echelon in terms of where he's going to go. Definitely getting talked about more than Nuss right now in terms of the draft. But they stepped up in a major way on Saturday. And you've got another test against Pavia, who, as I just said, talks more than anybody in the country, and it pisses off the team. And I'm sure that, Halsey and all the other guys, Perkins, Witt, Cooley, I'm sure all of them are hearing it. They're going to be ready to ball out, and just please, Pavia, don't throw it towards number 4. That's all I can ask for you. I think that we're going to win this game. And maybe it's the LSU fan in me that was thinking the same thing against Ole Miss, where, no way we lose this, we're this good. Maybe it all comes crumbling down again Saturday, and I'm calling for Brian Kelly's head. That's very, 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 very possible. But everything in me does feel like we are going to win this football game, and I really genuinely hope that is the case. We will see, though. 2.5 points, that's just screaming at you to take it, but I am going to try my best to not bet it. I'm saying that right now, Wednesday, October 15th at 6:26 p.m. That is not going to be the case Saturday morning when I hit the tracks, I'll tell you that. I'm going to bet LSU money line. 48.5 over and under as well. That I honestly would probably lean the under. Let's move on, though. We got Georgia Tech. Very interesting. Number 12 in the country, Georgia Tech, 6-0, 11 a.m. game at Duke. Duke is 4-2 and is the favorite in this game. Duke does have the quarterback Mensah from Tulane, who they're paying $3 million to play for them, and they're a good team. I've watched a lot of Duke this year, which is a crazy thing to say for football, but they're a good team. They had a tough game against Illinois early in the year. Blew that one. They just did not want to win that game. They fumbled 7 times. It was terrible. And then they went to Tulane, and I mean, whenever your quarterback is going back to Tulane like that, Tulane was playing that game like it was their Super Bowl. And they lost that one very close, but since then have rattled off some wins. NC State, Syracuse, California, not the best of competition, but still not any losses that you can just look at and say, oh, that's nothing. That's some pretty decent wins. But then you're getting into the stretch of your schedule right now where over the next 4 weeks, you're going to play Georgia Tech, Clemson, and Virginia. So is Duke going to battle their way back into ACC contention and ruin some seasons along the way? Possibly. So this is going to be a very interesting game. Another good one at 11 a.m. on Saturday. I'm honestly probably going to lean the way that the odds makers are saying this, and I'm probably going to lean Duke to win this. The whole Haynes King experiment, people love him. He's a dog. He plays harder than anybody, and honestly, right whenever I'm counting him out right now, he's probably going to go out there and play his game of his life. But still, I'm going to lean Duke at home, early game like this, to sneak out with a win. Washington, Michigan, another good game at 11 a.m., but I'm just not even going to talk about Michigan. I don't really know what either of those teams are. They're very confusing, which is safe to say pretty much about every team in the country. No team makes sense. My God, at all the games. Baylor, TCU at 11 a.m., Houston, Arizona, Army and Tulane. Feels like Tulane ain't played in 3 weeks. Who else we got? Oklahoma at South Carolina. Very, very, very interesting game for two teams coming off of pretty awful weekends. John Mateer playing through the wrist injury in the Red River rivalry. Those 3 picks. I don't think they scored a touchdown. It was abysmal. You can probably chalk up a lot of it to the wrist injury, but at the end of the day, you're the one out there playing through it. you've got to be the one that perform or either sit your butt on the bench. The same thing that Baker Mayfield went through in Cleveland the last year that he played for them. He had the shoulder labrum injury, something around that area, playing through it. Oh, I'm tough. And then you go out there and throw your career away and throw away a contract extension that you deserved prior to that point. Mateer, you're the Heisman favorite, all this BS. Go out there and ball out the way that you're supposed to, but instead he plays through the injury and can't play worth a crap. Then South Carolina, on the other hand, we just talked about it with LSU. Sellers did not look great at all. These are two teams that are spiraling, and it's at South Carolina. That's a very tough place to play, especially 11:45, Oklahoma traveling that way. It could be a sneaky game. It could be a sneaky game for South Carolina to win and drop Oklahoma probably out of the top 25. Just a couple weeks after people were saying, is Oklahoma back, which is crazy. Oklahoma 5.5-point favorite. I'm going to lean South Carolina. Let's see what's next. We got Ohio State, Wisconsin next. Wisconsin is awful. Ohio State's going to destroy them. Indiana, Michigan State at 2:30 at Indiana. My Hoosiers with the freaking win of the school's history against Oregon. It was beautiful to see. Love my Hoosiers. 27.5-point favorite against Michigan State with a sneaky, decent offense. I don't know about that big of a line, but still, my Hoosiers. All that matters is you get wins and you keep stacking them, baby. I love Indiana football. They play good football. Mendoza's a dog. That defense is lights out. I'm pumped to see the rest of the season for them. 2:30 also, we got Texas A&M and Arkansas. Arkansas, I think Sam Pittman was still the coach last time we recorded. He is gone. Petrino, the one and only, is taking over. Still, they haven't really been doing much. They've been losing pretty much every game that matters. Taylor Green, solid quarterback, nothing incredible. A&M offense is very, very good. They've had a couple of slow games the past couple weeks. Didn't really light up the scoreboard like they were going back to like the Notre Dame game. But Auburn, you scored 16. Mississippi State, you scored 31. Florida, you scored 34. And that Mississippi State 31, that was late. That game was a lot closer than the score says. But at the end of the day, A&M, people are really believing in them. They're number 4 in the country right now. Play Arkansas this week at Arkansas, or is this the at the Jerry Jones game? Oh no, it's actually at Razorback Stadium, which is interesting. I thought that for some reason this game was at Jerry's World. But A&M, maybe it's kind of a look-ahead game where you're looking ahead to LSU, going to Death Valley next week, and maybe the Hogs come in and sneak up and surprise you. 7.5-point line for A&M, 60.5 over/under. I don't know if A&M's going to let Arkansas score that many points, but A&M might score whatever the crap they want on Arkansas, honestly. I think A&M does cover 7.5, but that is a sneaky line where Arkansas could backdoor it. But at the end of the day, it's probably going to hopefully set up a gigantic matchup next weekend in Death Valley between the Tigers and the Aggies, as always. 2:30, another game. Biggest game of the week, possibly. College game day, Ole Miss at Georgia. 6-0 Ole Miss, number 5 in the country, versus 5-1 Georgia, number 9 in the country, at Athens. Georgia 7.5-point favorite, which is kind of crazy. Georgia one loss against Alabama, which was also at home, but Kirby Smart just simply cannot beat the Alabama Crimson Tide. It is just a weird phenomenon that is happening. But still, I don't think that Ole Miss is that good. That is my biggest takeaway from the LSU game and from other games that they have played. I don't think they're that good. Last week they walked through Washington State, barely got through that game at home. I think they're going to go in and Georgia's going to punch them in the mouth. I don't think Georgia's that good either, but I think Georgia is better than Ole Miss. And I'm the last guy that's ever going to give credit to Georgia. But Georgia's going to win this football game one way or the other. And if they don't, then Ole Miss is maybe very, very good, but I don't believe it. UNLV 6-0, shout out to them, playing the Boise State Broncos. Holy crap, Boise State's a 12.5-point favorite. Why? What does that mean? Why? Okay, so Boise State 4-2 at home, playing UNLV, who is 6-0, and Boise State's a 12.5-point favorite. I don't get that. Give me UNLV. Wait, I don't know. I might have been saying USC. UNLV, the running Rebs, with Anthony Colarandro or whatever at quarterback from Virginia. They play good, fun offense. Give me them to cover that. Easy. And maybe UNLV will get ranked if they beat Boise. So we got, give me some more ranked games. Texas Tech at Arizona State, 3 o'clock on Fox. Could be an interesting game if Sam Leavitt plays for Arizona State. He missed last week against Utah, which definitely sucked because Jeff Sims, for some reason, is still playing college football, and he's not very good at it still. But I think Arizona State could win this game if Leavitt plays, but man, Texas Tech is very, very impressive. And another thing, going back to Miami, with Miami, you're not really, in today's world, you're not really expecting them to be good defensively. Texas Tech, I don't think, has ever played defense until this year. And they've spent the money to make it happen, but my God, they play defense, and it is a sight to see. Like, they have literally one of the statistically best defenses in the country, while they also play not up to par with the Graham Harrell, Patrick Mahomes, Cliff Kingsbury, all of them offenses, but they still play pretty good Texas Tech offense. But man, that defense is very special. I think Arizona State and Kenny Dillingham could win this game if Leavitt is out there. If not, I think Texas Tech is going to roll over them. So 7.5-point line right now. You might want to hop on that early if you are a Texas Tech believer and go ahead and get that in before they announce that Leavitt is out. Memphis, number 22 in the country, playing against UAB, who is Trent Dilferless, which is probably for the better. 22 Memphis, that's way too high. I think they're decent, but I don't think they're that good. Like they beat Arkansas, who was not good, and they barely beat that, and it was Arkansas's miscues that led it to happen. But if Memphis does win this game, could set up a very big game next week against South Florida, who is now ranked number 19. Got Mississippi State, Florida. Apparently Napier is getting fired Sunday regardless of what happens in that game, so that's fun. Oregon at Rutgers at 5:30 p.m. What a disgusting game. Number 8 Oregon, that if there's ever a sleep spot for Oregon, even coming off of a loss, my God, that is disgusting. 17.5 points. I mean, that might be too many points, in my opinion. Give me Rutgers. Screw it. Screw Oregon. I mean, Rutgers isn't going to win, but 17.5 points at Rutgers for a team that's probably never played a football game there. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'll just say that. Washington State, Virginia. I mentioned them earlier. Virginia ranked number 18 in the country. They have a path. I'll say that. They have a path. And Washington State coming off of too close of a game against Ole Miss. That's the team I'm trying to think of. But if Virginia wins this game, rest of the year they don't have a ranked game. I mean, you have at Cal and at Duke that are sneaky tough. But, man, Virginia could be seeing them in the ACC Championship, which is not what anyone expected. Texas at Kentucky. Texas number 21 in the country with 2 losses, because they have a quarterback with the last name of Manning who is sneakily getting better and better, and it makes Clay, the number 1 hater, very worried. He looked really good last week against Oklahoma. I have to say it. They're going to probably win a lot of games. Who do they have left? They go to Mississippi State. They play Vandy. They go to Georgia, Arkansas, A&M. No, screw them. They're not winning out. Or they're not. Yeah, they have to win out. They're not getting in with 3 losses. They're not beating all those teams. Screw Arch. Screw Texas. Penn State, Iowa. This could have been a fun game before Penn State fell apart. Iowa is now a 2.5-point favorite. You got no Drew Allard. You got no James Franklin. What is this football game? I'll tell you what it is. It's one I will not be watching. Next, you got UCLA, Maryland. Maryland, who everybody thought was a sneaky good Big Ten team, boom, dropped 2 losses. UCLA, who everybody thought was the worst team in the country, boom, beat Penn State, get Franklin fired, win another game. UCLA might be the most dominant team in the country the past 2 weeks. They are back. What do we got? Tennessee, Alabama, 6:30 p.m. I don't know what to do about this game. I don't think Tennessee's that good, and I think Bama is special because I think Ty Simpson is arguably the best quarterback in the country. And I think Kalen DeBoer is kind of getting his swagger back. Something about Bama makes me think, my God, they might win the national championship whenever I watch them. I don't think it's going to happen because Ohio State exists, and they're probably just going to walk through everybody. But Alabama is sneakily getting better and better, and it is scarier and scarier. And Tennessee, I don't think is that good. But who knows when this game happens? Yet again, another 7.5-point line. I think Bama covers this, but it could be a backdoor cover where Joey Aguilar leads the team down the field. Boom, we're going to get a last-second touchdown. We're going to cover and break your hearts. 59.5 over and under feels crazy high, though. Even for 2 good offenses and Tennessee not really having a great defense, I still think Alabama is going to take control of this game, and I would probably take the under. USC Notre Dame. I have no idea what to think about this game. Speaking of Texas having 2 losses and being that high in the top 25, Notre Dame has 2 losses, and they're number 13 in the country. So, everybody thinking, oh, Notre Dame's not going to get in. They've lost 2 games. Yep, here we are. But they do play USC, and then after that, pretty much nobody. You got Boston College, Navy, sneaky good Navy team. Pitt, who changed their quarterback, has a freshman out there. They're battling at Pitt as well. Could be a loss. And then Syracuse and Stanford, who they're going to destroy. So Notre Dame, this is pretty much, are you making the playoffs or not? This game is in South Bend. I think it's going to be bad weather. USC probably not going to be prepared for that. Notre Dame is going to probably throw for 100 yards on this defense every quarter. Like, they're just that good. And USC defense is still that bad. Jeremiah Love, dog. Like, this game probably going to be very high scoring, even if it's bad weather. 61.5 points is the over-under. I could see Notre Dame scoring 42 and USC scoring 28. So I think that definitely is an over-under that I could see happening. But I think Notre Dame's going to win the game and waltz into the playoffs, which might not be the worst of things because they're playing really good football. South Florida, as I mentioned, number 19, only lost to Miami. They're playing Florida Atlantic, hoping to set up a good game next week against Memphis. We got Missouri, I think, on their first road game of the year. Yeah, Missouri's first road game of the year, going to Auburn. Heck of a place to go to. Auburn coming off 3 just very tough games that they honestly could have won pretty much all of them. Oklahoma, they had a shot. At Oklahoma. At A&M, they had a shot. And then Georgia, they probably should have won. And then there was a weird fumble at the goal line. No one really knows what happened. But 3 straight losses to 3 teams that are very good. And then now you get to welcome Missouri at home. And maybe this is your bounce back spot. I believe in Missouri, though. But yet again, first road test of the year at Auburn, at Jordan-Hare. That's a tough place to play. But give me my Tigers to, which I guess I got to be more specific, the Missouri Tigers to keep it rolling. Utah, BYU, the Holy War. BYU number 15 in the country at 6-0. Utah number 23 in the country at 5-1. 1 loss against Texas Tech, which was just a brutal game. That game was just ugly, and they were not ready for it. But I still believe in my Utes. I don't know if I believe in BYU. I can't say I've watched them much, but I do know I watched a little bit of the Arizona game last week. They got a quarterback that wears number 47, who plays pretty well, but that just turns you off. Like, you can't be number 47 and be good. I don't know. I don't really know about this game. It's at BYU. The atmosphere is going to be crazy. I'm excited to watch it, but I do think Utah I believe in Utah. I believe in them. I do think they're going to win this game. Feels like BYU never gets these big moments and wins them. So I'm gonna keep backing history, and Utah's gonna win this game. Cincinnati plays Oklahoma State. Cincinnati number 24 in the country. Cincinnati's gonna win. I think that's it. Yeah, that's all the top 25 games for the weekend. Please, Tigers, get the win. Make everybody happy. Don't make me threaten to pay BK's buyout or something. Like we gotta win. That's just what we gotta do. We've got to win. And I hope it happens. Let's go to the NFL real quick, and I'll run through those games. Thursday night, we got Steelers at the Bengals. Joe Flacco playing quarterback now. Why not? Playing against Aaron Rodgers, who still has a little juice left in him. He's never going to go away. He just never is. I think the Steelers are going to win this game because the Bengals aren't very good. But this could be a sneaky game where Joe Flacco goes out there, puts everything on the line. You know, he's actually got time to study the playbook. He started to form a connection with the two-headed monster of receivers with Higgins and Chase. I don't think Chase Brown is still going to do anything, but this could be a game where the Bengals finally pick up another win after going 2-0 and then falling 4 straight times. At home, Thursday night, short week. I could see it happening. 4.5 point line. Yeah, give me that. Give me 4.5 for the Bengals. I like that. Going to Sunday, Saints 1-5. Spencer Rattler might be our quarterback of the future or for the next near future. I don't know what the Saints are. They're not good, but they're also not bad enough to lose every game. They're going to continue to pick up some wins here and there, I think, which isn't what we want. If we continue the process of we're going to play close till the fourth quarter and then lose at the last minute, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with a 1-16 record. Is it going to happen? No. We're going to win 4 or 5 at least. And we might win this Sunday against the Bears in Chicago. I think there's going to be some weather involved as well. Chicago 4.5 point favorite, coming off of a dramatic Monday night game. This feels to me like a Saints spot, and I hate that, but it just feels to me like it is that way. I don't see the Bears jumping to 4-2. I do think the Bears are solid, but we know how that franchise has been for the last decade plus. It ain't happening. And this just feels like, honestly, the Saints, who we can't lose enough. We're going to win this game. The Bears can't win enough. They're going to lose this game. So that's what's going to happen. The Saints are going to win. They're going to piss us off. But maybe Rattler's the guy. Just please trade some guys. Trade Olave. Trade Kamara, even though he says no. Trade Jordan. Trade DeMario. Trade everybody that we can and get us some more draft picks. And lose as many games as possible. Please and thank you. Dolphins, Browns. No. Next. Rams, Jags, 8:30 a.m. in London. We've got the Rams probably without Puka Nacua. Jags, who are playing in London, yes, but that's essentially their home. So call this a home game for the Jags, even though it is one of their home games, but it is a home game for the Jags. There's probably more Jaguars fans across the seas than there is in Jacksonville. I would say that the Rams win this game regardless. I think the Jags are starting to spiral. They had their dramatic win against the Chiefs. And then you play against the Seahawks, who are a sneaky good team. Like I'm really starting to believe in the Seahawks and what they're doing. I can't believe I'm going to buy into Sam Darnold yet again. But maybe something has clicked. I don't know. JSN is just that freaking good that you've got to root for that team. I just don't think the Jags are as good as their record says. 4-2 Jags, I don't believe it. I think they're just getting lucky on turnovers, and they're just falling into wins that they probably don't really deserve. And I think the Rams are a good team. Tough loss against the Niners last week, but I do see, or not last week, week before, and then they bounce back with an ugly game against the Ravens. I think the Rams get everything together, even with Puka. Or without Puka. I think Devontae Adams could get going, which is probably a scary sight if Adams and Stafford get that chemistry and then Puka comes back into the picture the next week or the next week after. Because getting them two both together, man, that's a dangerous 1-2 punch for receivers. So give me the Rams 3.5. Patriots Titans, Mike Vrabel revenge game, going to Tennessee against the Titans, who are head coachless. And I think Vrabel is going to put his nuts on the table and say, I am the coach that you deserved and you didn't want me. And he is going to tell his team, I am your coach now. They didn't want me. Go show them what they are missing. And the Patriots are probably going to destroy the Tennessee Titans. They're probably going to have at least 7 sacks against Cam Ward. Like, the Patriots are going to destroy them. 6.5-point line isn't enough. Go Patriots. Drake May is a problem. Sneaky MVP. Drake May. Raiders Chiefs. 12.5-point favorites. The Chiefs are back. Chiefs are going to win this game. Chiefs are probably going to make the Super Bowl. Chiefs are going to break the Bills' hearts again. Chiefs are going to probably make the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, that's just the world that we're living in right now. So prepare for it. Accept it. It'll hurt less whenever you accept it. Eagles-Vikings. Very, very interesting matchup. I forgot the Vikings played football because they played 2 games overseas and then they returned home and had a bye week. So, yeah, the Vikings are a team. I forgot about that. Could be Carson Wentz in a revenge game against the Eagles. Or it could be McCarthy back. They don't really know what they're doing. They're talking kind of cryptic as if maybe Carson Wentz is just going to be the guy regardless if McCarthy is there or not, which would be insane. I do think that you need to give McCarthy more than, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks to show himself. But I wouldn't mind the Carson Wentz versus the Eagles game this week. Eagles coming off 2 back-to-back losses against the Broncos and the White Boys of New York. I don't really know what to think about this game. It's at US Bank Stadium. Part of me wants to think that the Eagles keep it rolling, or not that they keep it rolling, that they get back on track and that they do win this game and, show that we are still one of the better teams in the NFL. Part of me thinks that the Vikings are coming off a bye week. They're back at home. Brian Flores' defense going to get into Jalen Hurts' head. Maybe the offense is clicking. Maybe Carson Wentz is, pissed off at the Eagles for winning the Super Bowl without him. I don't know. But this is a very interesting game at 12 o'clock. And I wouldn't have minded it for a Sunday night game or something along those lines. Regardless, I will be tuned in. Panthers-Jets. The Panthers. How about that? 3-3. Why not? Bryce Young. Playing good. People aren't talking about it enough. I believe in Bryce Young, and I believe in what Dave Canales is building there in Carolina. Ted McMillan he's a stud already. It's an absolute hit. Rico Dowdle, incredible past 2 weeks. Don't know what that's going to be like when Chuba is back, who is also a good running back. But with the way that Rico is running, you got to keep him in the mix and keep him feeding until it stops, pretty much. It's pretty much how it's got to go. But Bryce Young playing pretty well. Defense is playing good enough. And the Jets suck. The Jets are very bad. Garrett Wilson is more than likely out this week. I don't see a way that the Jets win this game other than the Panthers panthering it up, and when they have a chance at going 4-3 and having a winning record in mid-October for God knows how long, since probably Cam was a quarterback, they're probably going to go to MetLife Stadium and lose the football game. So who knows what will happen there, but I believe in the Panthers, so I'm going to think that the Panthers are going to win this game. And whenever I say believe in the Panthers, I believe in them to win like 7 football games this year. I'm not saying they're going to make the freaking playoffs. Like, very, very low bar in terms of belief. Giants, Broncos, 3 o'clock game in Denver. How many 3 o'clocks we got? We got 4. Okay. The White Boys. They've sparked some energy into that New York organization. You got Scattaboo and you got Jackson Dart. I don't really know I don't really know if they're that good. I think it's being a little bit overhyped, and I think the Broncos defense that is like sacking quarterbacks at an incredible rate might make Jackson Dart want to quit football this weekend, and that's a scary sight. Jackson Dart going to the altitude as well. Not sure he's ever experienced anything like that. Scadaboo's probably going to do smelling salts on the sideline and refuse oxygen. I don't know. I think the Broncos are probably going to crush every little hope that the Giants have. So give me the Broncos -7.5. Colts Chargers. Peyton Manning versus Phillip Rivers in a classic game here. I wish that's the good old days. 5-1 Colts though versus 4-2 Chargers. Pretty much the script that we used to see back in the 2000s. But this is now Daniel Jones versus Justin Herbert, just as everyone ever expected to happen. The 5-1 Colts with Daniel Jones, who at this point, I think you just have to accept they're good. I don't want to believe it, and I don't know how it's happening, but they're good. Jonathan Taylor is a beast. Tyler Warren is everything that I ever imagined him to be. And Justin Herbert, on the other hand, playing very, very, very good football. Don't know if Quentin Johnston's going to be back, but that receiving core is perfectly fine with or without him. And looks like Kamani Vidal might be happening as well at running back. I don't really know what that game's going to be, but I think it's going to be fun. Over and under 48.5 points. Screw it. Give me the over. Let's have fun. That's going to be a good football game. I do think the Chargers win. I'm going to go Chargers there. Chargers win, -1.5. Commanders at Cowboys. Commanders 3-3. I think Terry McLaurin's being back this week. You got Beal at running back. What a dog. I love him so much. Jaden Daniels starting to get his groove. Not been incredible. The weather didn't help him this past week. Certainly not what his rookie self was. But between a couple injuries and bad weather, it's not been the best of starts to the season for him. Against a 2-3-1 Cowboys team who just lost to the Panthers, which might not be a bad loss, as everybody thinks and as it sounds. The Cowboys play fun offense. I think CD might be back and Turpentine might be back. This could be a very good game. It really could be against two teams that aren't very high in the standings, but two teams that are needing wins. This could send the Commanders to 4-3 or the Cowboys to 3-3-1. It's a pretty significant game for the NFC East and for probably the wild card spots at the end of the year. I'm going to lean the Cowboys getting this game done because there's just something about the Commanders that I think they're just going to keep losing the games, and I don't think the Commanders are making the playoffs, period. I think they're going to be closer to an 8-win team by the end of the year. Packers-Cardinals. Packers 3-1-1. A weird season for them. Looked like they were the best team in the NFL. Then they tie the Cowboys, lose to the Browns, have a bye week. Kind of looked good against the Bengals, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't convincing. Flacco made it close at the end. It's a weird game, and the Packers are very weird. Micah Parsons, I think, has 1 sack on the year, and it's a 0-yard sack that arguably was a rush for Dak. Like, he's not been that great. Their pass rush isn't that great, honestly. The offense is doing enough, but still, you're never going to trust the Packers and their receivers. And I don't think you can really trust Jordan Love to get the job done. So, I don't know what that team is. Cardinals, 2-4. Started off hot, and I think they've lost 4 straight. I'm almost certain they started 2-0. Yeah, they've lost 4 straight, but all of them have been pretty close losses. Yeah, you've lost by 1 point, 3 points, 1 point, 4 points. So, there's that. Looks like Kyler is back this week. Jacoby Brissett started last week and honestly played pretty well. You just lost to the Colts at the last minute because it's inevitable, and they're that team this year. Trey McBride's still a dog. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think he missed with a concussion last week or got knocked out of the game. So hopefully he's back. They're on like their 9th running back of the year. This feels like a spot where the Packers should get their groove back, and I think it does happen. -6.5 feels a little steep for me to bet it, but I do think the Packers win this football game. Sunday Night Football. Are the Falcons good at football? Maybe. Just dominated the Bills on Monday Night Football after a bye week and losing to the Panthers 30-0 earlier in the year. No one really knows what this Falcons team is, but with Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Michael Penix on offense, they're exciting to say the least, and their defense might actually be real for the first time since I've been alive. Like, I can't really recall a time where the Falcons had a really good defense. And it's starting to look that way. They're starting to hit on the draft picks. They have a real pass rush. Secondary's playing good enough. Like that, the front seven has just been really, really, really good in the games whenever it really matters. You throw that 30-0 loss against the Panthers out the window, and you prepare for a game against the Niners, who are 4-2. I think Purdy's going to be back. They've lost pretty much every player that you can imagine. Besides McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey sold his soul to the devil to injure every teammate and give him all of their health. Pearsall should be back this week. Jennings was back last week. I think Purdy's back this week. Kittle might be back this week as well. A lot of could be backs. I know Fred Warner won't be back, and I know Nick Bosa won't be back. Everybody else maybe not. But this is a very interesting game between two teams that no one really exactly knows what they are. They're 4-2 and they're 3-2, and I don't think anyone really believes in them to be like a playoff threat in the NFC. Or, I mean, they're going to make the playoffs possibly, but I don't think anyone really sees them being like a conference championship or Super Bowl type of team. So, fun game to see happening on Sunday night. Hopefully it's a good one. 2.5 point line in favor of San Fran. Yeah, I like that. So, give me San Fran. And then Monday night, a personal game for me where I'm just going to sit there and smile at the TV. You got Bucks at Detroit. Detroit coming off a tough loss against the Chiefs. Baker, best player in football, MVP, 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 Bucks to the Super Bowl. Bucks are playing the Lions, though. 5.5 point dogs, the Bucks are. You're going to be without Godwin, Bucky Irving, almost certainly Emeka Egbuka, and you might get Mike Evans back. Who knows with him? And even if he's back, I don't think it's going to matter that much. I think the Lions are pissed off, and I think they're going to make a statement. I said that last week as well, and then they kind of sucked against the Chiefs, but you know, everything was screwed up whenever the illegal shift BS happened at the goal line, whenever they had a surgical drive to go down the field. But even though, as much as I love the Bucks and Baker, this just feels like it's going to be a little too much. The cards are going to be stacked against them too much, and they're not going to be able to win this game. I think Detroit takes care of business at home. 5.5 points, I will never bet that against Baker Mayfield, because he could still win this football game, but I'm just going to root for happiness, and I'm going to root for everybody to stay healthy. And I want everybody to have a fun time, shake hands after the game, no punches, and let's get out of there healthy. Both teams get ready for next week. Last game, 9 o'clock kickoff Central Time on Monday night. Sure. Texans, Seahawks. I'm going to stay up for that. Absolutely. C.J. Stroud versus Sam Darnold. More importantly, Jackson Smith and Jigba versus the Texans secondary. Is he stoppable? Who knows? I don't think he is. The dude is awesome. And Stingley and company, I'm sure, are going to give him one of the best tests that you'll see all weekend. Nico Collins, on the other hand, what is the Texans' backfield? A lot of questions to ask about that Texans offense. I think this could be a sneaky good game at Seattle on a Monday night. Late kickoff. It's going to be a good atmosphere. Texans might be a little bit sleepy. I think the Seahawks are going to win this football game. 3.5 point favorite. I'm cool with betting them that, and Seahawks roll into 5-2. So bye weeks. You got the Bills, who are needing a bye week after the past 2 weeks they've played, and the Ravens, who are just wishing to not play football right now, given how their season has gone. But it could be sneaky, or not sneaky, because I think everybody in the world is scared of them. But if Lamar gets back healthy next week, watch out for the Ravens to make a freaking run and make the playoffs. I'll just say that. That man with nothing to lose is going to be a scary sight for the NFL. And hopefully the Bills regain some of their swagger, because the past 2 weeks they have not played the way that the Bills can play, and that sucks for my brother, and that sucks for most of the NFL fans, because I think everybody kind of roots for Josh Allen deep down. So hopefully the Bills Mafia keeps it rolling, and maybe that magical season can get back on track. But yeah, I think that is it for this weekend. Looks like I'm going to keep it under an hour pretty easily, almost 50 minutes. And yeah, that was quick. I'm out of breath. I'm ready to watch some football this weekend. Bengals tomorrow night. Why not? But everybody, stop listening to this. Go watch UTEP, Sam Houston highlights. Go Miners.
This ain't how it's supposed to be. It should be just you and me.